Baten Kaitos is an interesting concept, or multiple concepts, but it overstays its welcome, because relying on luck is a big part of the game, so it seems I'm not finishing it. One of the concepts is role-playing game plus card game. So card role-playing game. Cards are also in combat. That's why I said luck is a big part of this game. And with it, I get bored out from playing this game. And of course, as you can see, I chose to play the original release. Because I dragged the remastered from for console or laptop when I started to play this game. And maybe dragged it at some point I will be comparing remastered to original release. But of course after playing the second game. Another reason why it overstays is because the game teases the final boss, but then makes me do a filler content, or what seems to be a filler content to me. Baten Kaitos, or its full title, Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean, was developed by Monolith Soft and Trey Crescento, and published by Namco in Japan, by Namco Omtech, which nowadays is part of Namco ISO, in North America, and by Namco Europe, which probably is also Namco nowadays, and Nintendo in Europe only on GameCube. But recently HD remastered so both games get released on Nintendo Switch and Windows.
That spirit seems to like you. If you could bond with it, something wonderful may happen to you. Are you ready?
Hello? May I ask your name?
Another interesting concept for this game is that you aren't playing as any character. Then again you move a character and control the actions in combat, or also outside of the combat. But as a guardian spirit which bonds with Gauss. After bonding, there is time skip, where Gauss had fainted and thankfully a doctor called the Elite Gauss infant village after somebody had saved Gauss. Then following some Krill, whose name is revealed as Shella, later in the game we found out someone wants to resurrect an evil god, seal it in multiple cards. So Gauss got dragged around for it while he wanted to get revenge. And of course new party members join the party over the game progress, which happens in a world where people are living on 5 flying islands, and with that people evolve to have wings. Overall the story is interesting, but not as much that I will be trying again boss fights countless times. Or maybe I just need to grind enough to be the boss fight. But it is a different leveling system. More about it later in the video. Of course in the gameplay chapter. And of course the story is shared by this dialogue, which you manually need to progress, or cutscenes either which plays by itself, or again you need to manually progress them. But also there is English voice acting.
Knows what they could be up to here. Let's keep our eyes open.
We must bid the great Mizuri farewell. I hope we meet again.
Time to say goodbye. Us heroes, we have so much to do.
Only it doesn't sound like natural dialogue. It sounds like the voice actors are just reading the script. Okay, voice actors probably still will be reading the script, but voice acting there is something missing in this game. Or it's an acting speech, or maybe acting tone, like Alice in amateur theaters. That I seen here called TCL that actors are acting passive tone. Well, that is true mostly for party members. But for side characters that you interact with them in the story, dialogue sounds natural. Maybe here and there you could notice. Okay, what was that? Maybe here and there you could notice voice acting tone for side characters, but for the main characters in the party, which will be with which you will be spending most of the time, they are just reading the script and acting tone. With the main characters that you will be interacting with, you will be hearing unnatural dialogue. And of course there is a builder over voiceability. It's because you are playing as a guardian spirit. I'll start with the combat, which I get bored out from. Like I mentioned in the intro, cards which are called Magnus in this game are all set for combat. They are two phases, attacking and defending. Attacking, you can select up to numbered cards that character class allows you to select. At the start of the game, it's up to 2 cards you can select, and in this phase you can also heal, not just yourself but also opponents, and with it you can also damage yourself, but only with limited weapon options. So you need to be careful what you are targeting for what you want to do. After some time for choosing what to do in the attacking phase gets shorter. Also, you can select inactive cards, but in the attacking phase, you will be skipping your turn. Of course, to attack, you need to watch cards with attack stat. And if you start a combo chain thinking time, if you want to continue combo or not, varies by exchanging time of the last card. For example, when I figured out what card to use to continue the combo attack, to continue the combo, the attack ends. In the defending phase, you can use cards with defense stats or resistance stats. In the defending phase, you can select up to the same amount using the opponent. This time, selecting inactive cards doesn't skip your turn. But that's not all. There are cards for both phases, for which you need to start the combo, or previous card has the same element as an inactive card, and it takes some elements from poker, pairs, or the same number of any amount of cards and straights. Straights can be assessing or descending order, but you can't have multiple groups of straights. You can have multiple groups of the same number of any amount of cards, and one group can have a fewer cards than the other group, as long as there are at least 2 cards with the same number in each group. This gives bonus stats for dealing damage or protecting for damage or healing. However, for both of these, if there is at least 1 card that isn't in the group, then you don't get a bonus. After each attack from either side, the game gets paused to show the damage, which as a status game seemed to be slowing down the game, but I get used to it. Mostly I skipped it. Of course, because combat is a card game, then card order won't be the same in each battle or in each attempt. If cards run out in the deck, then the deck is shuffled. in character's front, and with it the turn is skipped. Speaking of attempts, when you lose a game, asks you if you want to try again only when you lose a boss fight. Regular encounters are game over. Really? If you even save the game in a while because save locations are fixed, save locations, and you lose because of bad rolls, that you get punished because the game made a mistake. Not only does the game offers you to try again, but also a fixed save location before a boss fight. Okay, it's because not to see through the dialogue before the boss fight. But if there is a try again feature for boss fight, then it should be also for regular battles, especially if the combat is a card game, because luck is a big part of the card game. Or because luck is a big part of card games. Thankfully, regular encounters are roaming encounters, so you can try to avoid them, but with it, you won't get experience. Another thing, it's because combat is a card game, then the combat can take a long time to finish. And you can't escape from unless your escape command is a card, for which you need to backtrack if you want the options to escape in the early game. And now upload saving the game, and now you can level up and get a character class. Save locations are represented as flowers, red and blue. Red is only to save the game. Blue can also be used as saving, but with it, you can teleport to the charge. So always where is a charge, then again I event finishes the game. So I don't know if its actual locations is shared or not. Anyway, the charge is where you can level up and can get a character class. After combat you still get experience, but to level up you need to manually level up characters in the charge. So if you want to grind and level up characters, then you will need to backtrack where you can go to the charge, especially before fighting a boss battle. To increase the class of the character, you might need a specific item for character, at least in the mid to late game. I didn't notice it in the early game, or I just forgot. Increasing the class increases attack and combo size. As a casual trading card game player, well, only in digital format, having lower numbers of cards in the decks means it's easier to get cards what you want. But I guess in this game that shouldn't be your mindset when end and combo size can also increase it. Also in the charts you can complete a star map. It's done by fighting Constellations Magnus, then talking to NPC which asks you to find them. You get rewarded for each Constellations Magnus given to him. However, you only get experience out of a battle. To earn money, you need to take a photo of the enemy. In other battle, choosing the photo. After battle, you can only select one card, so you will need to think if you want money or a better card in one of the characters deck. However, you need to wait for a picture to develop, don't sell it for more money. Plus, over the game progress, the items in cards or as a Arcal Magnus will be changing either buffer or the buffer. And even in Quest Magnus items will change. Quest Magnus is a way to move items that aren't cards in the deck only if you have a blank Magnus in Quest Magnus inventory. Here and there characters talk to you where you need to answer tricks so your characters will listen to you in combat. But I haven't got it where characters will speak themselves. So for most of the game it seems the guardian spirit is forgotten. So yeah, at first the combat seemed interesting, but I get bored out from it because a single bottle can take too much time because of Petros. Minus Petros, it's understable for both sides, and with Petros, both balls can take much longer. But regular encoders with Petros might take the same amount of time as both balls. Manual leveling is another interesting concept, but I think it wasn't implemented right. Then again, when leveling up, health gets restored. But if it will be an automatic level up, then level up would need to heal characters, and would you need to backtrack to level up. But I guess they wanted to levels healing characters, and that's why leveling up is manual leveling. I won't be mentioned that healing about healing from leveling up in different genres of the game. Wait a minute.
In this world, there are things that people mustn't touch. Who cares?
The god of demise and destruction, the cursed power of Malpertio.
The Ant Magnus? Never heard of that before.
Damn! The bastards!
There are spoilers in the opening cutscenes, but it went in a different direction than what I thought when I was watching the opening multiple times. I thought the opening cutscene was unskippable, unless there is a save file, because I was tinkering with the game, so it can run small as possible before playing the game. But I guess I didn't set up the controls right. Because it's a GameCube game, it is split into 2 discs. This game was in my video list for a long time, even before HD remasters, and I forgot why I had it. But by playing it I remembered why. The premise and the combat. But I guess I could have waited longer to play, so I could play it on a laptop as smallly as possible. Another way of healing is in shops, which is called rest your wings. Thinking it's leaving winglets, some get David's for wings in shops, but turns out it's healing party members. I guess I only skimmed the tip about shops. To interact with some stuff, you need to pay specific direction, and with it there are difficulties interacting with some stuff. Of course there are fetch quests for which there isn't unlock. There is one fetch quest for which it seems that weren't aims to find an item or a drug, it is in the drum, which I didn't access to when I needed the item. But it turns out there are more than the card for the end, so I'm not spoiling it. But I wasn't the only one who had a problem with finding the item. When searching online websites to find the item, I saw other players also had problems finding it. But before that there were hints for other things in easy locations, or even mentioned by party members. And for this item, no direction given to the player. Other finding things I think needed to talk before and not that sounds right. And one location being accessible but can go deeper in it confuses me and some other players that I saw struggling with this which can't get confused by these locations being accessible. Characters have variable equipment, but only one exit time for each character. These equipments are more like accessories. In some instances, perspective was hard to read. In some instances, maybe only one character is mentioned, but not directly, that you need to physically write some stuff on paper or somewhere else. Only after what you need to write is already gone. Your name which you wrote for guardian spirit appears in text dialogue, but it's linked in voice acting. For example, in text dialogue it says, Galas, rain is right. In audio it will sound like this. Galas is right. So from audio it sounds right. So from audio it sounds like Galas will be right. And of course, because I already searched online for help for different things, then I continued searching help online for other stuff when I stumbled on that seemed to be trouble. This time I was also wondering if game wasn't glitched, because in game I couldn't find out from phone I can get permissions to play. And of course, since the final boss is decent but doesn't let me fight it, to finish a game that sent me to the other stuff feels like filler contact to me. Those are just too bad to play them. Come on, game, let me finish a game. Or you don't pay to play them. Especially with different boss likes where you need to rely on luck to get good throws. Already a new franchise to me, and then I couldn't even beat the first game. At least at the time of writing the script. And still, when I'm recording this video, I still haven't pushed the roadblock? Yeah, I still haven't pushed the roadblock. I just learned from its combat, in which you need mostly to rely on luck. Relying on strategy, it's only when luck allows you to do it. Of course, I get bored out from playing this game because I binge play this game, so I can make this video on it. Or maybe under finishing better video. Then again, while I was playing it, I had some videos scheduled, and when writing the script, I had one video scheduled, and which is still scheduled. So I could have taken multiple days off from playing this game. But then again, under the rest, I might not have wanted to continue to play this game. I guess if I won't be finishing the game on my own time after making the video, then maybe when playing the HD remaster for a video I won't finish it. But only time can tell what I will do. But I still can recommend this game to you if you are interested in role-playing games and card games. Maybe if you feel bored not getting to you, then take rest from playing this game. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like on it, subscribe and comment. See you next time.